So welcome everyone to the briefings. This is the Angeles Puerto Rico Forum webinar series leading to our event at the end of this year in Puerto Rico. I'm Angel León, founder of Coqui Ventures, and I wanted to start first, saying something really quick before we dig into the questions here. But every founder in Puerto Rico eventually sort of hits the same question. Where does the money come from and when, right? And for most, the a lot of that start at the bank, and in Puerto Rico, that conversation usually starts at Banco Popular, right? And which is it's an institution in our island. And this institution has been backing businesses on the island for more than 100 years, right? In every kind of way. So my guest today, she sits at the center of how that's we support entrepreneurs. Kimberly Ortiz, she's the senior program officer for Emprende con Popular, which is Banco Popular's entrepreneurship platform. And she's an advocate of basically for small businesses and the startup community in the island. And today, I hope that we have an honest conversation here, right, about how capital actually flows in Puerto Rico, what the bank does, right, and what it doesn't do, and where founders get stuck between a loan and a venture round, and what should they actually do first, right? So, Kimberly, welcome to the briefings.
Hi, thanks so much for inviting me and for having me as a guest. I think it's a great platform for everybody to get to know a little bit more about how Popular, in fact, is supporting our community of entrepreneurs. So I'm really excited to be here. So thanks for inviting me for the briefings.
Thank you, Kimberly. And so let's start with like sort of the landscape, right? Give us the overview. How does Banco Popular support the small business and entrepreneurial community in Puerto Rico today? And what does Emprende con Popular actually offer a founder who walks through that door?
Well, you were absolutely right when you mentioned that we've been in Puerto Rico for over 100 years, over 130 to be a little bit more exact, and we've always been helping small businesses, right? But in the last decade, we've had a little bit more intentional in how we can expand our offerings more against more of the traditional banking. That's where Emprende con Popular fits in. So it's basically, or its main center, it's an online platform that provides educational content and for all of the entrepreneurs, so they can understand how this business cycle works, how it evolves, and they can maybe understand where they are in that cycle, and then they can see what we can provide as a financial institution, what products and services they might need at that specific stage, and also how we can provide them to different resources that we have within connection of different entrepreneurial organizations. Because we offer a lot of products, such as like beginning from business checking accounts. That's the very basic, to say the least. The first steps that some entrepreneurs forget, that they do have to separate their personal incomes with business income. So that's
Hmm.
some of the basic steps. But we do have a key program that is called Startup Popular. Startup Popular is a financing program for businesses of 3 years or less that have been operating, and we offer 50K in a financing program for over 4 years, and we offer business mentoring in that program, and also networking opportunities. This program, as I mentioned, is that key program. We've already disbursed almost 12 million in funds
Well,
for over 330 local businesses that have been able to boost their business thanks to this program. So it's something that's very special for us, and it is what I think maybe propelled us to have a little bit more of a formalized program of Emprende con Popular. We also have a Popular Impact Fund. This is another type of program that have equity investments, and this is a little bit more intentional for programs, or for entrepreneurs, I should say, that have a little bit more carbon footprint, and sorry, and have like an impact, social impact, community impact. So it's a different kind of fund. And of course, we have traditional financing products, commercial loans, commercial credit cards, that as well, CDs as well help all these businesses move on. So that's like the main part of Emprende in terms of the products that are on our online platform. But we also have our collaboration with these organizations, entrepreneurial organizations such as Parallel 18 that you know very well, Grupo Guayacán, Causa Local, and we have throughout Scala Popular, that's another program that we have that provides them some grants so they can organize and they can have their own acceleration programs so they can as well help entrepreneurs at different stages in the business cycle. So we can collaborate and be working together. You know, we have the financing programs and the financing products, the banking products that they need, but they work alongside these programs that provide mentors, workshops, etc., that help entrepreneurs learn a little bit more how to structure their business, how the business model works, etc. We also have a really, and this, I'm really proud of this. We have a network of ambassadors of Banco Popular that
Okay.
also have, they do workshops, they serve as business mentors, they serve as judges in business competitions and demo days, and they provide special insights to these entrepreneurs because most of them are brand managers, etc. So and they know exactly how the business world is working day to day and how it
Yeah.
changes constantly. So it's something very special for us. So we are trying to help at different aspects from Banco Popular and helping those entrepreneurs boost their business, get to know a little bit more about themselves and how the business world works a little bit. And last but not least, before we move on to the next question, we also provide opportunities to showcase their products and services.
Yeah.
Popular participates and sponsors a lot of events around the islands and different parts of the islands. So we provide these opportunities to these entrepreneurs to be in these there's a lot of conventions, and so they can just be there. They can promote their products, sell their products, and to an audience that otherwise they would not have. So it's very valuable for them to be able to participate in those types of events, so they can get to be known a little bit more, create awareness around their brands and services.
Definitely. And thank you for that, Kimberly. And towards the end there, we the audio still went back
Sorry.
again. Let's see if we can do something about it. Can you see on your side on the audio options if there's not nothing else connected to your audio
There's not.
setting?
Let me see if I can do the echo cancellation here. I have nothing else.
Okay.
Do you hear me better now, or
A little bit, a little bit. I think that's okay for now. Yeah.
okay?
All right.
I'm just gonna get closer just in case.
Yeah, it's just that like it sounds raspy and then sort of the audio goes off, so you can't hear yourself for like a microsecond. So it's like half of the word. No worries, no worries. But just to continue the conversation here, so and talk a little bit about how has the founder changed, right, in Puerto Rico over time, and you've had front seat basically in all this, and over the last 5 to 10 years, right? How has that profile of the Puerto Rican entrepreneur actually changed? And who's starting companies now that wasn't doing it before, and which sectors and industries, right, are you seeing move a lot more?
Oh, it's very interesting. The ecosystem is not the same as it was 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I think we saw a lot of mom and pops that are still very much a part of this ecosystem, but now we see more and more businesses that are innovation driven. They are more savvy in terms of wanting to scale. They want to export. They have a little bit. They're more intentional in how they're being built. So I think that's very interesting, and I think it has a lot to do with them being more conscious about getting mentoring right off the bat, right from the start. They're a little bit more intentional and wanting that business mentorship and doing the workshops. And I think they want to be they're better rounded. I would like to
Hmm.
say in terms of how they're presenting themselves in the business world that makes them a little bit more structured. I think the perfect word is that they've matured. They've matured significantly over this past decade. So I think it's super interesting and see how they've evolved. And in terms of what sectors and trends, I think that we have a lot of more innovations. I mean, we can't deny it. AI is all around. So
Mhm.
we cannot deny that most of these newer businesses are related specifically to how AI can optimize different programs, existing businesses, and they're just optimizing and integrating how AI can help them. So I think that's super interesting. We see a lot of healthcare. There's a lot of healthcare also going on in terms of it's kind of like beauty, aesthetic,
Mm.
and but also chiropractors. We've seen a lot. We've also seen a lot more services like accountants, like lawyers, because I think that before maybe they weren't considered like business owners to
Right.
quote unquote,
Yeah.
but now they are. All of these accountants, all of these services that are being provided, they are. And they're seeking as well the help. Actually, healthcare doctors, when they open their new office, they are also business owners. So we have to treat them as such. So I
Mhm.
think that's something that's very curious as well. That they're shifting their mindset around that. So I do think that those are the most trends that are it's technology driven, AI driven, and professional services. We do also, if we want to go the more traditional routes, of course, we still have our retail and food and beverage is always right up there. I
Mhm.
mean, we can't do anything if we can't eat and we can't drink. So
Right.
food and beverages is still going to be up top there. So, but I think it's expanding vastly, and it's just not the mom and pop shop anymore. It's the whole wide range of services, and I do think that the seeking of mentorship and partnerships it's helping a lot in this mature stage that they are and how they're staying because you should know this as well. They have a lot of entrepreneurs that struggle those first years, and sometimes they just lose motivation and they just maybe a little bit disappear. But we're seeing more and more businesses stay, and it's because they have financing options, of course, like across from Emprende Popular by Banco Popular, and they have all these organizations that as well serve them with different options, different resources. They're very open to have more educational content to help them grow.
Very cool. And to talk a little bit about the gap, which is I think one of the biggest topics, right? And the one I want to get the most into is like of course there's a real debate whether traditional banks and venture capital are actually competing for the same Puerto Rican founders or serving basically different needs, right? So and a lot of founders also describe sort of falling into that gap, and that they're too early for traditional bank financing and not yet ready for venture, right? So how does Banco Popular think about that gap, and where do you think the bank's role ends and then the capital sources begin?
Yeah, well, that's a great question, and I really don't think that one has to end for the other to begin. I think we can grow better if we can just grow in collaboration. It doesn't necessarily mean that when I finish, you end, and then the organizations come in. I think that the gap that does exist, I'm not going to deny that, but I think that helping ourselves and having these alliances with the organizations, with ventures, we can honestly help the entrepreneur guide between all of them because it's the same kind of road. Sometimes they're going in zigzags,
Hmm.
sometimes it's a straight line, but
Yeah.
we all have our part there. Like our traditional banking, I said it a few minutes ago, we provide the basics. We have to provide that business account that is
Hmm.
so important for them to start up, but they can also like at the same time do it an organization that is validating their business model, that are validating the idea, so they have the resources to try it for the R&D, etc. So I think it's learning how they can live at the same time. How can they just grow with all of the resources? I think it's not seeing them as separate helping hands. It's more as a helping group to all of them because I think they have gained more structures once they are in those organizations organizations, and they're more structured once they come to the bank and they know how to apply for a financing loan, because that's one of the major, sometimes our major challenges is when these entrepreneurs come, that sometimes the finances are not necessarily organized in a way that they can present themselves ready to be financially backed by a bank or by a venture or by angel investor, etc. So I think that the gap is being filled by these organizations, which is why we have been actively having these alliances, so we can work together and just try to better prepare the entrepreneur, so when they are ready to go to get the investor pitch, they know what to do, know how to say it, and be just very prepared for those questions, because these are hard questions sometimes that the investors ask. And I think that we're a good sounding board for them to be prepared when that time comes and they have the big investors on their side to see if they want to invest or not in their business. I think that is something that they should consider, and just be us as a whole, where we are not competing in we are allies for them. So it's something that they can definitely count on us for that, so they can try to just grow and scale their business at the same time. I lost my audio for a sec. Do you hear me? Yeah, okay. So I don't know why I can't hear you, but I was reading your I was
Oh, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Are you on mute?
I was muted. Yes.
I was like, oh my god, something happened to the audio again.
All right. So, sorry. Let me repeat the question then. So, in terms of in terms of industries, are there any specific industries that you guys sort of, I know may be agnostic for that end, right? But are there any industry you guys prefer?
Well, we are open to almost most industries, but as financial institutions, and this is not popular, this is almost all financial institutions in Puerto Rico. We are not yet backing any cannabis industry. We're not backing any of that up. Cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, we're not in that. We do not do like casinos, like betting games.
Hmm.
We don't back that either. And I'm missing one. And we do not back any adult entertainment industries. So those are like the mains that we don't. Anything else is fair game. I do know that there are some programs that limit themselves in terms, like if there's like short-term rental
Hmm.
properties. I
Right.
know, but we do. We are all in
Okay.
it, except those four industries that I just mentioned. We're game for anything else. Actually, it's very interesting to getting to know the different industries that do exist. So
Right.
I think that's the most one of the most rewarding parts that the years I've been in the ecosystem. I've learned so much, because there are so many industries of stuff that you didn't even know they existed. So apart from those four things, everything else is fair game.
That's very cool. And so, what do you think are those, most common challenges that Puerto Rican small businesses and startups, specifically, right, owners, run when they try to access these traditional banking products, right? You mentioned a couple already in terms of, just organization and fundraising preparedness, right? These kind of things, and I feel that's gonna be pretty common. But besides, that normal sort of, admin ops, right? Sort of obstacles, right? Are there any other challenges that they're posing, right? Aside from those that, that are a little bit stronger in terms of allowing them to move to the next step?
Well, yes, organization types number one, and so they can get their finances in order. But I do think that it's a little bit more, as they need to understand what are they financing needs at this moment, because we've
Mhm.
encountered a lot of entrepreneurs that I need 100K. I need an investor of $100,000. I'm like, well, for what? Working capital. You're like, for what? So I think
Right.
sometimes they are like a little bit, they're scaling too much. So they need a little bit to drill it down and try to a little bit organize what do they need right now, because you're coming to me right now. If you want to open 5 stores or two, for an example, that's great, and you might need 100K a little bit more further down the
Hmm.
road.
Right.
But what do you need right now? So I think that's something that happens a lot. That when they're applying for commercial credit, they sometimes ask for too much, and we have that. But that's part of the interview. When we're interviewing them and we're asking, well, what do you need right now? And we help them, a little bit drill down and realize exactly what's their financing need right now and how we can help them. And that's where our role in Popular comes in, because we're the
Hmm.
banking experts. So we're the one that know actually what is the type of financing that you need. Because of course we have traditional loans, we have startup, we have credit cards, we have line of credit. So we do have different banking instruments that help the entrepreneur depending on the financing need that they have. So I think that's one of the challenges that we see when we receive them, and when they're coming to us to apply for a commercial loan. And in terms of their part, and I'm gonna like switch a little bit the role. Sometimes I understand that our banking requirements might be a little bit restrictive, a little bit from their point of view. Because, for example, I need to see that you've proven your concept.
Hmm.
At least for our financial institution, I do need to understand that you have
Right.
proven concept, that you've had a little bit of income, that you've done your first month of sales, because we need to see some projections. We need to see if there's a trend in sales. So that's because it's a risk assessment on our part. So, and I do think that
Hmm.
sometimes it's a little bit frustrating for entrepreneurs, because I need the money so I can prove it, so I can start the sales, but you're not. So I think that may be a little bit that challenge for them. But that's where again the organizations help, because there are a lot of
Hmm.
organizations that have grants and that have that seed money for those that have
Right.
the idea that's just beginning. So I think that it's a little bit how they can learn about these programs that will help them have that little bit of funding, and then come to the bank and have them bank ready for us. So I do think that those are a little bit more of the challenges of how they can access capital. They do have another side of the challenges, and I do think this is across the board, across any industry, in terms of permits, in terms of
Hmm.
permits, and because there are different permits
Right.
depending on the industry, depending
Hmm.
where your business will be located,
Hmm.
depending the hours of service. So there's so many different things that it can get complicated and it can get frustrated. So I do think that could be another challenge that they do have when they're starting up their business, and sometimes it's just misinformation. And I think that sometimes
Hmm.
they have to look and have to look for a lot of information, and there are different types of brands and different types of help, but they're like hidden. They're like hidden gems.
Right.
So they have to you have to learn and search a lot for this information. So I think that those might be the blocks, those stepping stones that they need to like overcome. I think that those are the main points, because those are the challenges that the most they need. Because and the other one I'm just thinking about this right now, we do have some imposes of where Puerto Rico, so almost all of our materials do not come natively from the island.
Hmm.
So we do have another thing of taxation, the tariffs that's been coming around. So those are all conditions that are affecting the final pricing of my product and my service. So I mean, being an entrepreneur
A
is a
lot.
brave thing to do. So I think that we're just here to help. Popular is here to help them get
Hmm.
that around and move around those stepping stones for the help we can get. That's why it's so important to create that relationship with the banker, because we're going to help them. I'm not going to be able to get you that permit directly, but maybe they can help you guide a little bit more
Definitely.
and tell you what doors you should knock so you can get that information.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, it is a sort of a complex type of thing, and different, like you said, permits and this definitely. I mean, we have people, right, that hacen gestiones, and things like that, like as a business, so that's
It
how
is.
complicated it is. So it's very interesting, and it's great. I think that the banks, part of the resources, right, is that, because that's definitely, I mean, one of the main blockers, right, in those sense. So in terms of any Puerto Rican founder, or even any Latino founder for that matter, like watching this right now, right? We have programs in Puerto Rico to build from Puerto Rico, right, and get access to tax benefits and other things. So for anyone thinking about building in NPR, right, and watching this, what's like the single most useful tip that you think they should take?
Don't give up. I think that is the most
Okay.
important thing. I know. I mean, that's just in general terms. Don't give up. Do not give up on your dream. I think that eventually there will be more business owners and bigger corporations. That's something that's been studied along the way. So don't let go of that dream, but just get allies. I think the most important thing is to get allies. That's why we have all this information in Emprende con Popular. We're asking you, I would ask them to visit the page. It's popular.com/emprende,
Hmm.
and they can see all the information of all these organizations that we mentioned, such as Padre, Vallacan, Centro para Emprendedores, and those are so good because they show you the way how to make it a little bit easier. I mean, it doesn't mean
Hmm.
it's gonna be flawless.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be flawless, but it's a little bit easier, and we want to be that ally because we want to help these entrepreneurs succeed. The entrepreneurs are the backbone of the economic development of Puerto Rico because every day there are more and more business owners,
Definitely.
and as if they succeed, we succeed as a bank,
Right.
and Puerto Rico succeeds as an economic developed island. So the most important part of them is to gather information and to yes, there are different ways of doing business in Puerto Rico. It's not easy, but it's not impossible. We have many successful stories of entrepreneurs that have opened their businesses. And by the way, if there's a failure, and I do not like to use that word, but if there's a failure, it doesn't mean that you failed as an entrepreneur. It means that maybe you have to think a little bit about it again and maybe just let me see how I can revolve this idea and
Hmm.
evolve it a little bit more and maybe turn it around and go
Yeah.
again. So I think these types of failures or these types of missteps are also helpful. And I see so many entrepreneurs that are serial entrepreneurs, I call them actually, because once they get the hang of it, they like to open a lot of businesses, and I think that's great. I think that's awesome, and all of them form such a lovely community because they also help the other entrepreneurs that are starting
Yeah.
up. They serve as mentors as well. They serve as they are part of these organizations that we mentioned, and it's lovely. It's really fulfilling to see when these organizations and these entrepreneurs get together because it's like a group of old friends, and they are
Yeah.
really giving this advice, giving this information because it's a hard road and they've already been through it. So let me help you and tell you how to go around it. So I think the entrepreneur's first step, gather information, just like educate yourself, go to our website and just gather your information and just don't get scared. Don't be scared. It's a lot, but
Yeah,
you
get
can do
scared.
it. You can do it. I think just grab yourself an ally, grab yourself a mentor that will help you along the way. I think having a sounding board is one of the greatest steps that anybody
Hmm.
can can have because we all love our idea, we love our dream, but sometimes the dream has to change a little bit. And sometimes you don't want that, and it's understandable.
Hmm.
But maybe that's why you need that sounding board. Maybe it can be your banker. That sounding board can help you tell you, yep, it's time to scale it down a bit, or it's time to dream bigger. So that sounding board can help you take those type of decisions. And sometimes they're hard decisions, but that's why you need that ally, that mentor. Banco Popular wants to be that for you as well. It wants to help you along the way, and we have a helping hand just for that purposes.
Definitely. So thank you, Kimberly, for spending the time today,
Sure.
telling us a little bit more about, Banco Popular, and like I mentioned to you before, even this, the idea of this webinar is to sort of educate, share, and create awareness, right, as to how does the Puerto Rico ecosystem looks like today. And you guys are, again, iconic, right, benchmark bank in Puerto Rico. So, and I know you guys are very involved with the ecosystem, and I wanted to bring this in, to the attention of our group, right? In the sense that you guys are, part of what makes the ecosystem be what it is today. And again, you guys should be in that room with our investors as well, because not only are you guys providing, economical, right, and financial opportunities, but I know for a fact that you guys as a bank provide a lot of other, services as well, to be honest, a lot of time has a lot more value, right, than the check that you could get, because all that time and all those resources, it translates into people's times and money, so you guys help more, I think, than a lot of other banks, for that matter, into the ecosystem, and I think that was very important to bring up to the group. But before we leave, though, last one, and I really look forward to this one too, because I love to see it from your perspective. Over the next 5 to 10 years, what role do you see Banco Popular playing in the much broader, Puerto Rican entrepreneurship system?
That's a great question because here to 5, 10 years, the ecosystem will be bigger and bigger and broader. And as I mentioned, I've seen studies that will tell that, I'm not sure it's 10, but maybe at least 20 years from now, there will be more business owners
Hmm.
than they will be like bigger corporations. And that's so interesting to me. It's going to be a very good word. So Popular will want to continue to be that ally. And we're looking at different industries and see how we will help specific industries. I'll give you an example. We recently launched Popular Healthcare Hub, and this is focused mainly healthcare
Interesting.
on the healthcare industry and how we can help them grow, and that in their different stages, specifically in the medical field, when they're beginning
Hmm.
their patient care, when they're opening their first office, when they're even at their like business continuity, when they're getting to retire. Puerto Rico has an age population, so we
Hmm.
have also a lot of aging doctors. So how are they gonna continue their business legacy? So Popular is thinking about those specific industries that they can target and continue to develop specialized programs for them. Because we're going to continue with Popular, I'm going to continue with Emprende, but we are trying to figure out how we can maybe attend specific needs to specific industries, because every industry
Yeah.
also have different types of needs.
Hmm.
So we are trying to also understand those different industries that are growing and how we can maybe create some type of bundles. I'm not sure if that's the word, but some type of packages for these industries so they can continue growing. So Popular will definitely, and Emprende con Popular will definitely keep on being that ally and continue to create different programs to help these businesses grow, and we want to be there for them and be that helping hand, because again, as I said before, if they succeed,
Definitely.
if they grow, if they help Puerto Rico's economy, Banco Popular is going to be awesome as well, because we're going to grow and we're going to be also healthy with them. So I think that's helping them helps us, helps Puerto Rico. Everybody wins. So
Definitely.
I definitely see that we're going to continue to help the ecosystem evolve and continue our relationships with the organizations. And we're going to be, I mean, I know you said that we're going to be in the same room in October. We have the event. I hope to see you there
Hmm.
and
Definitely.
to see how our different industries can collaborate. So it's something that we're really looking forward to.
Definitely, definitely. We're looking forward for that too, and I'm personally excited about it, and show, again, our group what's going on in PR right now, and all the opportunities, that we can help, and we have a great, amazing group, of professionals, and And I know that there's a lot of opportunities and a lot of great Puerto Ricans, building businesses out there. So let's help them. So thank
Yeah,
you again, Kimberly, for being here and participating in this webinar series for Angeles investors. Again, everyone, this is Kimberly Ortiz. She's the senior program officer for Emprende con Popular, which is Banco Popular's entrepreneurship platform, providing capital resources and everything else in between. So thank you again, Kimberly. Really, really nice the conversation, and really great knowing about all these different opportunities. And I hope everyone listened to it.
thank you, Angel, and I appreciate the opportunity to showcase all that we're doing and all that we will continue doing for the entrepreneurs. So thanks for the opportunity, and we'll see you guys soon.
Thank you, Kimberly.